Hey subscribers, thank you so much for joining me today. I am Levi. This is the Cybersecurity Education channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Today we're going to be talking about being careful what you do with your trash. Are you one of those type of people that throws away everything that you get? You don't really think about what you're throwing away, or maybe you're one of those type of people, you'll go ahead and you'll shred things with the social security number on and passwords on them, but you're not really concerned about anything else. The rest you just kind of toss it, and you decide, hey, I'm gonna let the trash company take care of that. They'll do the responsible thing, right? If you're one of these types of people, you're putting yourself at a huge risk. You're putting yourself at risk for identity theft. You're putting yourself at risk for somebody taking that information and using that to break into your online accounts. And you're really just putting your personal information at risk. By watching this video, I'm going to teach you the risks of mindlessly throwing stuff away. I'm going to teach you how to securely throw your stuff away, and I'm gonna help you protect your information so you don't get your online accounts hacked, you don't get your financial accounts, all your money is stolen out of those, and you don't get your personal information stolen that can be used for other purposes too. So I hope you guys really enjoy this content. Let's go ahead and get started. So you throw everything away without a second thought about where it goes, or you give very little thought to it. You know, I used to be in the same boat as you. I kind of just threw stuff mindlessly away, and who cares about that? You know, what's the point in shredding? That's not a big deal. You know, I would do it with social security numbers and financial statements and stuff like that. But I really didn't care about general mail and stuff like that. I was pretty good with hard drives and electronic data, which is something you should also think about. Just because I was a technology person and knew the risks there, and I knew how to wipe the information off of them. But other basic things, you know, I didn't really give a thought to. One thing to keep in mind is, like, every time you throw something away, it goes somewhere, right? Like, it doesn't just disappear. Basically, you know, as long as it's not tampered with or somebody doesn't go through it, it goes to the trash company, and then they really have three different options that they can do it with it. They can destroy it by burning it and such, or crushing it or whatnot. They can recycle it, or they can basically have it sit in a landfill and just let it sit there and rot for millions of years, right? One point I really want you guys to take in consideration is, you know, start really getting in this in your head when you're throwing stuff away. When you put that trash out on the curb or wherever you put it out in the dumpster or whatnot, it is no longer your property anymore. That information has been transferred, or that information can be viewed by essentially anyone, and you're explicitly giving the rights to the garbage company to own that information at that point. Not only can the trash company do whatever it wants with it, there's also a thing called dumpster diving, you know. And dumpster diving is basically where somebody can go and look through your dumpster or your bag or whatever, and they can look at that information that's inside of there. They can do a search through it and look at all the information that you have in there. So anything that you have in there is free reign for them. And because it's on the curb, it's quick and easy access for people to go and take that information. And depending on the jurisdiction, it could be illegal or it couldn't be illegal. But in reality, I mean, what's the risk to the people? The risk is so limited, you know. It's not that hard to go walk up and take somebody's trash on the curb, throw it in the back of your vehicle and take off. Either that or just dig through it real quick and see what you can find inside of there, you know. If there's hard drives, if there's paper and stuff like that, boom, you pull it all out, you put it back, and you're good to go. What's your biggest risk most of the time? A trespassing charge. That's nothing, right? These people that are doing the dumpster diving can go and take that information that they found, and they can use that to break into your or to steal information from your financial accounts and stuff like that. This type of information that they would be looking for, they'd be looking for like USB drives, letters that you have, emails, CDs, DVDs, hard drives, mail, like any documents or anything like that. So when you're throwing your trash away, most of the time you're looking at financial statements, social security numbers, and passwords. And you're shredding those or you're destroying those documents. Other things that you probably don't think about that are beneficial to these people that are going and digging through the trash, or dumpster divers, like your names of people you know, phone numbers of people you know, canceled checks, addresses, deposit slips, etc. Like, these are all critical information. They don't seem like they're that big of a deal, but when you combine all those pieces of information together, it really puts a full picture of yourself that can be used against you, commit financial fraud against you, and create financial accounts against you, and steal your identity. So here's an incident I found at ScienceDirect.com that had a situation like this. I'll post a link down below so you guys can read more about it, and there's some other good information on that page about the risk of your trash getting stolen. Basically, this Jonah Hannick Nelson, a 30-year-old man out of Sacramento, California, he was responsible for stealing more than 500 identities through dumpster diving at a nearby Wells Fargo bank. Jonah would routinely dumpster dive behind banks and other businesses in order to obtain sensitive materials to make fake identification cards and blank checks. He did this by acquiring processed deposit slips and junk mail that contained full names and addresses within the dumpsters of nearby banks. Key information that Jonah concentrated on while he was dumpster diving was, like I mentioned, names, addresses, birth dates, social security numbers, and canceled checks. So you're asking, like, how did he compromise these accounts and steal all this money? Nelson used his computer to create all of his falsified materials. He used these identities to fraudulently open credit accounts at Sears and Kay Jewelers to obtain goods and services. Through his actions, he was able to steal over $1 million. Let's say this again, $1 million of cash and merchandise. He would have continued his crime had he not been turned in. And then just a little bit extra on this story. Upon some of Nelson's victims, according to the authorities, they consisted of Nelson's own family members. So this is really a good example of why you should be careful about what you're putting in the trash. You know, this guy stole millions of dollars of information off just basic information here. You know, they had to get the social security number, which isn't always easy, but obviously he found it in the trash, so people weren't shredding that stuff, right? It's absolutely critical that you shred anything that has any personal identifiable information on it. Another point that I haven't brought up yet, because of the ruling of the California versus Greenwood in 1988 court case, basically police can go through your trash without a warrant. So if you're a criminal and you have your stuff out on the curb and you didn't shred anything, or you have incriminating evidence against you, yeah, the police can go through that and without a warrant, without your knowledge, and just go and do it. So that's one thing. I don't suggest being a criminal, but hey, if you're gonna be a criminal, don't put your crap out on the curb without destroying it or doing something to it. So the main point to take away from this, see, information from the trash can be pretty valuable for criminals that want to go through and steal your information and open up accounts and things like that. It's just such an easy thing for criminals to go and do. It's so easy, and there's such little risk to doing it. I mean, all they gotta do is pull up to your trash, grab hard drives, anything out of there, hard drives, any type of electronics that look like they could have stuff on them, papers, throw it in their vehicle, take off. Either that, or they can spend the time to sit there and look through it. Most of the time, dumpsters aren't in places where there's a lot of people anyway, so they're probably not gonna get caught. And even if they did, they could say that they were looking for something that they lost in the trash, right? And that would throw people off that were suspicious. You know, the worst case is you're gonna get a trespassing charge. In most areas, you're not even gonna get, in a lot of areas, you won't even get in trouble for it at all. So you're asking yourself, well, Levi, how do I protect myself from this? Like, what can I do? Like, what should I be doing when I'm throwing stuff away? The first thing that you can do with any type of paper documents is you can obviously shred them. And I would be shredding any type of paper document that has any personally identifiable information on it for you, your family, or anybody that you care about. You know, like any of this information down here that we talked about before, names, phone numbers, canceled checks, addresses, deposit slips, and especially financial statements, social security numbers, passwords, like anything like that. If you have any pictures that are embarrassing to you or anything, you know, if you have any naked pictures or anything like that, or any type of health records, you know, like if you have HIV or some disease that you don't want other people knowing about, make sure to shred that stuff. My general rule is just shred everything. If you're not sure, shred it. The other thing that you can do, especially at a business level, if you're working for a business, make sure you have a cross shredder. So instead of cutting it into big long pieces like a regular shredder does. It cross cuts them into shorter pieces and makes it harder for somebody to be able to put that stuff back together. If somebody wants to go after you hard enough, they will go and put all those pieces back together. And with a cross shredder, it just makes it that much harder. There's actually supposedly software out there that will go, and if you put all the pieces front forward, it will use artificial intelligence to put all those pieces back together for you. I haven't looked into it too much, but that is kind of interesting to me. Next one you can do, you can destroy the data. Personally, light it on fire. That's probably my favorite method, blowing it up, something like that. Those are really good things. And that's really a surefire way of getting rid of it. If you burn a piece of paper, nobody's getting that data back. So the next one would be, while you're destroying that data, you can also take a hammer and smash that like button. So the first ones are more talking about paper and stuff like that. So we also have electronic devices that you have to think about with data on them. I created a video that talks about this. I'll put a card up above so that you can look at it. It's called What You Must Do Before Selling or Giving Away Your Phone, Laptop, or Tablet. So obviously that talks about how you should destroy your data on those. Kind of the main point is you can do nothing, you can manually delete data, you can reset the device, you can write zeros to it, or you can destroy the data. I talk about that in that video, in that specific order there, from worst to best. So go ahead and watch that video. Some things I didn't really cover on there: CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, and USBs aren't really covered on that. But the main thing for all of those methods except USB could probably follow that video, is if you just destroy it, the data is going to be gone, right? So you can also pay an electronics recycler to take that stuff, and you can do that with your paper documents too if you wanted to do that. Just make sure that you trust the electronics recycler. Obviously, if they're scammy and go through all your stuff, and it's not going to do you much good, right? So when you throw something away, you should really have this light bulb go off in your head. You should ask yourself, hey, does this have any personally identifiable information on me or my family members or anything like that? Does it have like any names, phone numbers, canceled checks, financial information, deposit slips, social security numbers, passwords, anything like that? Automatically shred it. When in doubt, shred it, It's not going to hurt anything. And yeah, the main thing is just be constantly aware when you're throwing stuff away. Like, does it have information about you, Just having that awareness will really help you out in securing your information. I hope you guys really enjoyed this content. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a great day.